better.
Yeah, it's very dorky. Okay, great. Raindrops are falling on my head, and that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free.
Ooh.
Welcome to Respectfully Podcast.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Whose song is that? Usher?
Yeah.
It's Usher.
R. Kelly.
Really?
Yeah.
It's about
yeah.
piss.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh my
It's
God,
about
that was
pissing
right
on
there.
It's Aaliyah, actually. Oh, sorry.
Oh my God. The first time I tried to do a little wholesome open, you're like pedophilia, urine. But that's the dichotomy.
You know, that's the damn show.
It
Well,
is.
and welcome to the show.
I'm Andrea Allen.
I'm Lizzie Cassidy, and our guest today, hilarious stand-up comedian, and dare I say, friend in real life.
Woo.
Yeah.
Guys, it's Shaunak Godkhindi.
Hi.
And return guest. We don't
Yeah.
have a lot of those.
No, we don't.
Back
No,
for
we
part
don't.
two.
We don't have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Back and better than ever.
Back and better than ever.
Yeah.
I lost 2 pounds.
Did you?
Congratulations.
Wow.
Or you look great in
Oh, thanks,
any
you.
way that you want
Okay,
to
thank
be.
you.
Even if you gained 2 pounds, I think that was cool too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Unless you were
Yeah.
trying not to, and then I'd be like, well, we can talk.
It's a process.
That's fine. That's
Everything's a process. Yeah, your last, respectfully, you had like positive takes
Yeah.
that weren't lame. And
One
they-
of the best, I think one of the best respectfullys of
Yeah.
all time.
I don't remember. What did we talk about?
You said, tell your friends that you love them.
Oh, that's sick, actually.
That was one of the best ones we've ever had.
Yeah.
That's sick as hell,
was
actually.
profound.
I love doing that.
If you haven't listened to that episode, pause this one.
Pause this
it?
one.
Go back for context.
Yep.
It's a lot of context. We're going to be rehashing a lot.
Sure,
You
of
have,
yeah,
to,
yeah.
you have to have seen part 1 to get part 2.
Yeah.
I just pull up a huge book of notes. Well, so I wanted to talk about every once in a while when I'm hypomanic, because I can't drink or if I can't have sex with people who hate me because I'm in
Yeah.
a loving relation, which is
Married
good.
even,
Which
married.
is good.
Married.
Married.
Oh my
I
God,
go-
you're married too.
Yeah, you're
Sorry,
Wow.
get up, beat
This
it.
has been happening in my life. This
When
is the
everyone's getting
first
married?
year that it's actually happened
Sure,
to me.
sure.
Where, oh yeah.
Where everyone around me is married or engaged.
Yeah.
And boy, is my boyfriend not hearing the end of that. Boy, is he not hearing. I mean, I think every
now
day.
It's going into
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I'll tell
cloud
anybody.
forever.
Have we only been together a year? You bet your ass we have. But we live together. And we have to go to fucking 4 weddings this year. All of his
Oh,
friends
wow.
are engaged or married.
Yeah, because he's in his 30s.
He's in his
right?
30s,
Yeah, this is
and
the
he's not a
time.
comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So
they get married.
they're all married, and so
Right.
every time I hang out with them, they're talking about a wedding that just happened, or a wedding that's coming up, or a couple that just got engaged, and I keep going, must be nice.
Do you actually say that?
Yeah,
That's really
I do. And he
Lizzie's
goes,
a wedding girl. She
and
loves
I
wedding
love
stuff.
weddings.
That's
Yeah, I
cool.
have a
That- I
Pinterest
wouldn't
board.
think
I know
of.
people
I
wouldn't
know.
think, but I love throwing a great party.
Yeah, and
So-
what's a wedding but
That's
an
what I
excuse to
wanted
throw
with
an
my
And
awesome
yours
wedding.
was a great party,
Yeah.
no ceremony. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Do a little my
Nice.
wife bit up top, and
Yeah.
then let's start drinking, baby.
And my boyfriend,
Wow.
Yeah.
every like wedding that my boyfriend gets invited to, he's a groomsman.
Yeah,
in.
yeah. And then you just kind of hang out.
And then I just kind of
for
hang
an
out.
hour.
But I keep doing this bit where I go, always a groomsman's girlfriend, never a bride.
We have fun, folks.
Never a bride, always the groomsman's girlfriend at the table full of single people,
Yeah.
never the bride.
Can't believe you put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I wore it to the wedding. That is not a cool
Yeah,
move on my
not a
part.
cool move, but
No.
funny.
Very
But
funny,
funny.
though.
But funny.
Every wedding needs a disruptor a little bit.
Yeah, and I also can't drink.
Yeah.
I can't
so
do
you gotta get your
drugs.
fun.
Yeah.
So I gotta dance and I gotta be weird.
Yeah.
I gotta freak out one of your aunts, dude.
Yeah,
I must
yeah,
freak
Yeah,
out an aunt.
yeah.
Or opening something up within her where she's like, I used to be free.
I used to be free.
and my life is a cage now.
Yeah.
text that boy.
Yes.
And yeah, you are. Yeah.
My husband's dead, and there's a younger man who I never
met a nice
Yeah.
Korean man
Yeah,
when I
yes.
was in college. I should find him.
on Facebook.
I should go look him up on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Well,
My boyfriend is like, he's at the table, the head table with the wedding party, and I'm at the kids' table coloring with a crayon in my fist.
Not even a color.
I'm like, do you guys smoke weed yet? What are you
Yeah.
guys up to?
It's a cloth tablecloth.
It's a cloth tablecloth. I brought the crayon.
you're like, hey, if you're gay, I'm okay with it, and
I'm
you
like,
can
just
talk
so
to
you
me
They're
know.
about
kind of all
that.
looking at Eli being like, Is she like of age mentally? Is she good, man?
Coloring. He has to cut up my steak.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
delicious.
could we get this well done, actually?
She doesn't like if she can see the pink. She doesn't.
She
like
gets
it.
freaked out. She
Do you
doesn't
have
like
chicken
thinking it's
And
cow.
no green stuff. No green stuff
No
on the
green
plate.
stuff. What do you mean? Like leaves and stuff? Don't
Even
Yeah.
like a sprinkle of parsley, you
Don't.
have to leave it off.
She'll freak out.
She's gonna
Separate
freak
it.
out.
We don't have the
Separate
crayons
it.
in the box.
She'll
to-
flip a table, dude.
Well, speaking of Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I need to feel free sometimes,
Mm.
or that like I still got the weird girl in me.
Yeah. I totally get that.
Yeah, because I have a pretty boring girl life, which I love.
Yeah, we both grew up
Stability.
recently.
Yeah.
And,
And so-
sometimes we have to, and we are both famously watching Girls. Sometimes we have to embrace our inner Hannah.
Yeah.
And
So
just like
Hannah's-
make a
Hannah's
bad
nuts?
choice.
Yeah.
Hannah's Lena Dunham.
Oh.
Sometimes we just have to embrace our inner Hannah and like do something fucking weird.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do?
So
Beta guy? Sorry.
I wish.
Oh, that'd be so good. No, I am surfing the Facebook Marketplace algorithm
sick.
now.
As am I.
Yeah, so I bought a bunch of Facebook Marketplace stuff for the studio, and then I'm like now in the matrix of like Facebook Marketplace people. I know
Yeah.
the movers and
Yes.
shakers.
You're locked in.
I'm locked in.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get some like weirdo art for my apartment, and I found a man who sells things from estate sales.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So usually I don't go into people's homes.
Yes.
However, this guy had a lot of history selling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is like a business in
Yeah.
my mind. And I'm
Yeah.
being like, well, that's different.
Yeah.
But
Right.
is it?
Right.
Really?
It's still his house.
It's still his house. But I wanted to feel something. So I went to Bensonhurst, which is very, very deep in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So again, it's like another little adventure. Like, ooh, a neighborhood I don't really know a lot about, but I know it's like
Right.
very Italian. So like,
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of where like cops are made.
yeah, yes,
There's a
yeah,
portal that they walk
yeah,
out of in
yes,
Bensonhurst.
yeah.
I was in Far
Firemen.
Rockaway last weekend and I was like, this is where they build them.
Yeah,
They have like a factory full of clay.
They
and
like
build
crank it.
cops.
Yeah.
Give this one a mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get off the subway, they just give you a badge and a fire hose, and you're like,
And a
"Thank you."
firearm.
Yeah. Yes, all three. The trifecta, the talismans. So I get there, and the guy via text seems very normal and formal.
Yeah.
And then I get into his apartment, and he just has an energy that I'm not
Yep.
super into.
And you're alone?
And I'm alone. I know. No.
I know.
But I have a sickness where
Has
I'm like,
a whole husband and went alone.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
Crazy. I mean,
Bensonhurst.
what is even the point of having one?
I know, and weird friends. I could have found a
Yeah.
weird friend to go with me.
Yeah.
I mean, we're friends with boys.
I
The
know.
only benefit of that
I know.
Truly.
is having someone to go with you.
Yeah.
I know. Shaunak would have gone with me.
Come on,
yeah.
let's go to Bensonhurst.
Next one. Let's go to Bensonhurst. So he's got, you know, when people have that energy where you can tell they really want you to like them.
I see.
Yeah, it's like pretty like, hey, hey, check this out. Oh, I got
Yeah.
this fucking, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no. And he's dressed like trying to be trendy, but he's a few waves back.
Which is Bensonhurst, by
yeah,
the way.
yeah.
What do you mean he's wearing like a
Like V-neck.
it's
you know?
2012?
He's
Yeah.
hipster Williamsburg.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Remember
Portlandia
Hipster
season
Williamsburg?
1.
Yes.
And shout out to hipster Williamsburg, but baby, it's over.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
been over. But so it's kind of girls coded.
It is girls
'cause I'm
coded.
going to a portal, and then it's hipster
Yeah.
Williamsburg, and it's a guy named Penny Black who's very weird.
Whoa!
And
What? This sounds
yes,
like an old-timey cigarette.
dude. Oh my god. I wish it was like a folksy guy.
It sounds like they
Yeah.
would do ads for that cigarette on Mad Men.
Yeah.
Penny
yeah.
Black.
Penny Black.
For women.
It's
Right.
toasted.
It's toasted and it's for girls.
Yes, it's cloves. It's
Yeah.
something like that. So Penny,
It's skinny.
yes,
Yeah.
Penny Black ushers me into his living room, which is filled with beautiful stuff. Here's the thing: I wasn't wrong about the stuff.
Yeah.
like it was like
stuff's great.
gorgeous. He's clearly been a mover and shaker in the hoarding, selling
Yeah.
business.
He's a mover and shaker in the hoarding scene.
yes. And I'm putting my
Gotta
toe
see
into
what
the
he hoards. Penny's
Dude.
got
There
such a
is
great
no room
collection.
to move or shake.
no. It's walking sideways.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't want to knock over that weird frog sculpture. Okay, that's like from a woman who's dead.
He's got a
Okay.
few.
And he's like, I got these cool purses, and they're just like dog shit. Like they're so ugly. And I'm like,
Oh.
oh yeah, no, that's so cool. And then he's like, I'm actually a DJ also.
course.
This is how these weirdos
Yeah.
are. They have 17 hustles, and they like
And none of them are like good ways
none
to make
of
a
them are
stability
good.
thing.
No.
Yeah, and they're
no.
not good at any of it.
Yeah.
No,
Right,
no.
right.
They're a hobbyist and a hoarder,
Yeah.
and they're trying to like. I could tell Penny Black wanted me to think he was really cool.
Of course. Yeah.
And I'm
he
also
needs
a
that.
girl. He needs it to live. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Without
everything's
that,
on
he
the line.
dies.
I know. His life's on the line. My life's on the line.
Yeah.
For different
The
reasons.
stakes are high.
So high.
both
The stakes
parties.
actually couldn't be higher.
Yeah.
My cortisol is through the roof.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whoa. And so he starts to play records and so loud. Like it's not
Whoa.
like, oh, I'm putting on a little ambient
What?
music.
This is
It's
scary.
yes, it was so scary, dude. He keeps turning up more.
Nothing will dysregulate my nervous system faster than a bad DJ playing loud music.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's like the kind of thing where even if it's in like a club setting where it's supposed to be, I walk in and I'm like, no.
No,
Yeah.
it immediately feels like there's a big python in there.
Yes, dude. This guy was so Python
God, you know
coded.
what it's like to be a woman.
Yeah, yes.
You are a girl's girl.
girl.
dude.
Yeah, you know what a threat is like. You know how to identify a threat.
Totally.
You know how to neutralize the threat.
Yeah.
This guy had such Python energy. It's crazy. He didn't have like
Yikes.
weird bugs or butterflies.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
sort of like off
Freezer full of
center.
rats.
Yes. Yeah. I don't even know what was in that kitchen. I don't even want to fucking know.
Yeah.
Actually, I do. There was a stool that he pulled out and made me sit on. It was
Oh
like
my
so
God.
strong and heavy. And I'm like, yeah.
Also, I'll tell you what's in that fridge. Definitely kimchi. Have you noticed
Yes.
this?
Oh my God. You're so right.
What's the deal with these white guys and kimchi?
They love it. They just
Black
found out
guy.
out of.
Black guy.
black guy? But
But also, I'd like to make the point that white guys are hoarding the kimchi of New York
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
And they'll eat it in front of you like it makes them cool.
yeah.
They're like,
it's
I
funny
love
because it's a
it.
1,000-year-old dish.
I know.
Yeah.
And people are just finding out about it.
I know.
Yeah.
And they eat it like it's impressive to you. And you're like, no, yeah, it's like tastes good.
I saw
Yeah.
a guy do it on the bus, which was diabolical.
Oh man.
on the bus.
On the bus.
I also think you're allowed
I'm sorry,
to
if you're
do
gonna
that
eat
on the
kimchi
bus.
on the bus, you absolutely must be Korean.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
absolutely
No,
have
he was
to
like
be
a
Korean.
bodybuilder, and he had a Ziploc bag full of chicken breasts, and then a box full of
Yeah.
kimchi. It
Oh.
was
But this
so. It
is
was really bizarre.
But Penny Black is one of these. Anytime someone's like a weird hustler, they're also on the next food or health thing
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
So Penny Black definitely has
Yeah.
fermented shit and
Yeah.
yogurt. And like if I
Yeah.
had let him
Kefir.
go down, yes, if
Yeah.
I'd let him go down that path, he would have been telling me about macros and all that stuff.
Yeah.
People who track macros are like famously insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you're correct on that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So he's playing the music. He keeps turning it up, and then he's like, "Dance!" Like he's dancing, and he's
What?
like, "Dance!" And I'm like, "Oh fuck!"
And now you're in a classic dance or be killed situation.
Yes, dude.
Oh no!
Panic
And-
at the Disco.
And if you claim to be a weird girl, Panic at the Disco's hilarious. Name of the episode.
Yeah.
If you claim to be a weird girl and you've never been in a dance or be a killed situation, don't talk to
You're
me.
not
Yeah.
a weird girl.
You're not a
You
weird
have
girl.
not earned it.
If you've not gone to Bensonhurst with a man who has on his last
Yeah.
limb,
Yeah.
and I'm holding stuff between my legs.
I love this. You told me about this. This is
Wait, what
so
do you mean?
funny.
Well, I'm like holding like pieces of arts and like things that
The
I'm
things
like
that you
looking
into
at.
that.
Oh.
And so I'm like, well, I can't really dance because I have stuff. But then I just had my legs squeezed together and was going like, yeah.
Yay.
Knees together, paintings in between the legs, just kind of bare minimum moving.
Oh my God, this is so scary.
It's so scary. So then he's like yelling at me to dance, and he starts talking about music. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll like talk music shop with him because I'm like a music nerd. So I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe this will like
calm him
like
down.
calm him down.
Yeah.
So he puts a Boney M
You're
record
like you're
on.
playing a flute for a cobra.
Yes, 100%. Like some like on a frequency that
Yeah.
like only a dog can understand.
Yeah.
He just like slowly falls asleep, but he's playing a Boney M record. I love Boney M. And do you guys know Milli Vanilli?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so and famously Milli Vanilli does not sing. It was like all a scam. They were lip syncing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So like a weird German dude puts together these like super groups of like Earth, Wind, and Fire, like cool, trendy black people, and he sings everything, and then the black people just like wear cool outfits and dance.
I see.
Love. So that's
Love that.
Boney M. So I'm like, did you know that like they're not actually singing? And he was like, no, that's not true. And I was like,
You're right.
Right.
You're right. Sorry.
Right. Well, because I think he wants to be the cool music
Yes,
guy.
one, yeah.
exactly.
And I come in with a factoid, and he's like, "Oh, this fucking bitch," or like, "I'm embarrassed because I'm supposed to be the man in this situation."
Yeah.
And-
I'm the DJ.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
DJ. Turn that up. And then he's like, "I love soul," and I'm like, "Oh, do you like Donny Hathaway?" And he just goes, "No," and I'm like,
Why?
Okay.
Donny Hathaway's amazing.
"Yeah, Donny Hathaway's
Okay,
amazing."
sorry.
But I think he doesn't know who Donny Hathaway
Yeah.
is, and
And
he's
yeah.
embarrassed again because he was trying to impress me with his music acumen,
Yeah.
and I'm like fucking poning him
Yeah.
Yeah.
with basic
Yeah.
And you're not
music.
even trying to put him. You're just asking him questions
Oh,
about
yes.
artists or giving like a
Yes.
normal factoid.
There's a thing in trauma response called fawning,
Yep.
where you just
Fight, flight, freeze, fawn.
fawn.
So fun is when you go, oh yes,
Yeah.
everything's
Dude,
fun.
100%, and you're like,
Okay.
You appeal to the ego.
yes,
Yeah.
you're just like dancing with him like a little doll, and being like, you're
it's
the
like
man.
people who escaped from serial killers by being like, I get you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your mom was mean.
And that
I
does
see.
work. I feel like
Well,
it's
it depends on some of them. Some of
Respond
them
to that.
respond negatively to that.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Some of them go, "You're faking it." And you
Yeah.
go,
Of course I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
No
wearing
shit.
weird underwear you put on me. Of
No
course
shit,
I'm
I
trying
am.
to connect to you about
I'm in your
motherly
absolute
wound.
basement,
So then I'm like,
not the mother wound.
I'm like, dude, you got to go for the mother
You
wound
gotta
sometimes.
go for the mother wound.
Oh
So-
my god.
So then I'm like, okay. I ask for how much a painting is, and he says $500. And I'm like, fuck, because I'm like, I gotta buy something from this weirdo.
Oh my god, you did not give him $500.
No.
Okay.
Because
There's a version of Andrea that gives that guy $500.
if my
And I don't
mania is a
blame that
little
version.
higher,
Yeah.
because it's the price of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm bartering for my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's a little out of my price range. So then I'm like going around and I see a bunch of like printed old prints, photos of like cool 50s pinup girls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great, these can't be that expensive. I like them. This is how we're getting out clean. And I'm like showing those to him and he's like, oh, I have so much other good stuff. Pulls open a drawer. First thing he pulls out, actress. Do you remember the actress from Lost? The brunette woman
never
who's like
watched
famously
Lost.
really hot.
Okay.
She's just like a really hot lady and full bush out. She is naked, full bush.
Oh.
In another scenario, I
Love
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
But he's like, what about this one? And I'm like, oh, you've been waiting to fucking
Yeah.
just get full bush right in front of my face.
And he wants you to be
Yeah.
like, I also have a full book.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh my god.
Everything's a little test with this
Yeah.
guy. Everything's like a little move to see. I'm like a rat in a cage, and he's just
Yeah.
like putting little treats everywhere and being like, how am I going to get this bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh.
And it's so funny that in these situations we forget about leaving.
right.
We
Yeah.
just the option of leaving goes out of our brains.
Turning 180 degrees and walking.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know why I didn't leave.
Because you're
Yeah,
scared.
Because I'm
'Cause you're
scared.
scared.
Yeah.
But we do have to, as a society, we have to start leaving.
You're right.
If you're watching this.
If you're watching
Leave.
this, just
Leave.
leave, dude.
Leave.
If you're bound
I
in
mean,
a serial
fake a
killer's-
damn phone call.
Yes.
If you must.
Yeah.
And I, of course, was being like, my husband.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was like, is your husband here right now, bitch?
Right.
Don't think so.
Yeah.
So then now he's like, I need you to do a social media video for me promoting my business.
I'm not getting paid for that.
I know.
Hustler.
Yeah, hustler culture. And he's pulling up Facebook videos of just one after another, only women.
Yeah.
Being like, thank you, Penny Black, for my
Fear in their eyes.
Fear in their eyes.
Fear in their eyes, sweat on their forehead, full bush.
All of them bushes out. And him being like, I like this in the background. So there's a video of me on Facebook somewhere being like, I love these. And he's like, fan out the photos, fan them out. And he's like getting close to me to like get a right angle. And I'm like, I love these beautiful photos, Penny Black. Oh. I buy the photos.
Yep.
$150.
Come on.
I know, dude. I
Ay, ay,
know. my whole ass utility bill just to survive this encounter.
And at that point, it's like, what is even the point of Facebook Marketplace?
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
yeah.
the whole idea is shot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Everything's ruined.
What did you even go for? You just went to look because he had a cool
Yeah,
warehouse?
yeah. He had a cool, it was his apartment, which I was like, okay, maybe he has multiple rooms. Some of these hoarders have like full kind of like shop setups in their
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah.
And he had a history. Like you can see what they sell. I'm like, okay, this is like
Looks legit enough.
100%.
Yeah.
I showed it to my husband. He was like, it does look legit enough, but please ping your location. And I
Yeah.
had a bad, again, listen to the instinct.
You gotta
leave.
listen to the instinct.
When I got off the train, I was like, man, fucking, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And then he's like taking forever to like wrap everything up because he just wants me to stay so badly. And let me say, I don't know that this guy's he's predatory in his like toying.
Behavior,
Yeah.
I also think he's like someone who wants friends so badly.
Yeah. He's like a lonely, weird person.
Yeah, yes. And so I'm like, okay, I think like I'm safe, but I don't want to give this guy an inch because then I'm going to be like talking to him for 6 more
Yeah.
hours.
Totally.
He's wearing a hat that says black sheep and he's like, I'm the black sheep of my family. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Buddy, you're the black sheep of this conversation.
Yes. Everywhere you go.
There's 2 of us here, and you're the black sheep.
Yes. And then I'm like, Penny Black, is that short for something? I don't know why I'm still talking. I'm like, you're almost out, bitch. Why are you
Yeah.
asking follow-up
Yeah.
questions? And he's like, he like doesn't say anything. And then he's like, I don't want the government involved in my business. So I'm like, oh, so you're like off the grid? And then I'm like, oh, like taxes? And he's like, yeah, taxes. And I'm like, okay, great. Tax evasion's much better than
Yeah.
Yeah.
I killed
I
in
kill
another
women.
state.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm reinventing myself. And then I get out and I'm free. And I knew I would be receiving a text from Penny Black.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
it. I'm like, give it 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Ding. I'd like to take you out for dinner. I knew it.
No
I knew
way.
it.
Why
Block.
do that then?
Because he thought we had a great time. This is what it is. He thinks that we were connecting.
Yeah.
I was fighting for my goddamn life.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
he set his little trap and
Yeah.
I was in there
And you said I have a husband.
a million times over, but he's like, no, I'm the new interesting. No one cares about
No one cares
husbands.
about your husband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
it was crazy. And
See, this is why every girl like you needs a girl like me.
yes.
Because I'm
Yeah.
the girl who's going to go, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah. Shut up.
Because that's I'm flight.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
all flight.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in a pinch fight.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't really have the fawn muscle exercise.
That's great.
So you need a dynamic duo of both women.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
sometimes you have to be like, we have to be nice to this person. I'm like, I don't like it.
yes. In your
And other
eyes,
times,
face, body
I'm
language.
like, we do not have to be nice to this person. We
Yes.
have to go.
Yeah.
And I was sending you texts about what was going on, and you're like, I hate this. What is this? Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And I'm like, while I'm sending them, I'm like, we knew this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrea, we knew.
Yeah.
And yet we chased the dragon and we got real close to the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why? But I know exactly why I did it. It's so frustrating to know yourself
Yes.
and still
Yeah.
betray yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's every time.
Yeah.
It's you every time. Time to go to a meeting, girly.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's not even like you got to walk away being like, I got this awesome thing.
No, the
like,
stuff sucked.
Yeah,
Right.
like you
Yeah.
got like $150 pinup picture.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but at
But
what
it's
cost?
$3 at a thrift store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Salvation
print it out,
Army
I
would have
think
done.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go to that guy though.
I mean, go to a Kinko.
Yeah.
The moral of the story, go to a damn
Dude.
Kinko.
Just Google woman with full bush and go to a
Yeah.
Kinko's
Yeah.
and don't almost die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're telling. Open the schools, put the women in them.
Yeah.
We have to teach them.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And also, if you're a weird guy out there that's collecting kooky collectibles that are going to attract weird girls, don't be a freak.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because if you have weird collectibles that attract kooky girls, if you're nice, you're going to get laid probably.
You're
Yes.
gonna attract kooky girls.
Yeah, get some kooky
Dude.
girls over, and if you're chill and you're like, well, thank you, have a good day, and also we should hang out sometime.
She'll be texting you.
Yeah.
She'll text you. Let's get dinner.
30% of the time, there's gonna be a girl that's like, let's go
Yeah,
look at a
I'm
kooky.
kooky.
Let's go look at a kooky
Also,
standstill.
yeah.
I'm a kooky bitch.
Penny Black, hot.
Ah!
hot.
Right.
What a
Could have had it
waste.
all.
Had it all.
Could have had it all.
So many black-haired women with
Yeah.
piercings
Yeah.
are just on your doorstep, and you're absolutely
Botching
biffing it.
it.
Yeah,
I know.
That's
yeah.
even worse.
It's worse. It was
Turn the
worse
music
that he was
down.
hot.
Let her lead the conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be
chill and quiet.
knee deep in weird girl pussy.
I know.
Especially having a place out in Bensonhurst.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they would be like, yeah, we're gonna go settle down over there. And
Yeah.
we're gonna bring my
Backyard.
iguana.
Yes.
And we're gonna have a beautiful, weird life.
I mean, one
Yeah.
time I went on a not horrible, but like a regular bad date with a guy. Like we just weren't,
Clicking.
it
Yeah.
just wasn't happening. But then he told me that he had upwards of 15 lizards in his apartment. And I was like, well, I am going to come look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went to his apartment. I looked at all of his little friends and I said, thank you so much. I'm going to go.
Right.
And he
Good.
thought that we were going to have sex. But sometimes a girl needs to see a lizard.
yeah.
Totally.
Sure.
And as a weird girl who loves lizards,
yeah.
I had to go.
Famously.
Totally.
And I had to go in and be like, can I hold this one?
Yeah.
It looks like it's smiling.
put this
Can
one
I
on your
hold him?
hand?
And he was like, no. And I was like, okay.
Oh. Yeah.
She doesn't like it. Okay. Well, I guess I know who comes first in this relationship.
It's a lizard than me.
Yeah.
I always would be second to the lizard.
The
you
lizard.
know?
You know it
Lizard, and
too.
you could kiss like
I was like, did you just go on a date with me because my name sounds like lizard?
maybe.
Am I your 16th lizard that you're going to collect and put in a
Swiping on
terrarium?
Yeah,
every
yeah.
Lizzie in
Yeah.
New York City.
And I would love to live in a terrarium,
Oh,
but I
my
have to be a
God.
human woman.
But the amount
If
of
there was a
crickets
lot
you
of,
gotta
but if
buy.
there was a lot
yeah,
of enrichment
crickets.
activities,
Dude, crickets.
Crickets and mice.
Yeah.
No, I mean if it was like a Lizzie terrarium.
Oh,
Like it was
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
You were in a big terrarium.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dude.
that's great.
yeah.
You
And then
could-
he sends
what's an
down little
apartment?
pieces
But,
of pizza.
Yeah.
I know. I used to live in an apartment with like big windows, like a loft with big
Yeah.
windows, and every day I was like, my terrarium.
Yeah,
It's
they
like
sent,
heated by the sun. I was like, this is my
People
little
across the street
terrarium.
go, yeah, she sits in that
And
sun
they
spot.
would watch me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lizzie
I would
just
see
is
them.
like this. You know how turtles put their head up when they're trying to get the sun?
Yeah,
Lizzie's just
that
like
was me.
this.
That's
One
so
time,
cute when they
there
do
was an
that.
apartment across the street. We could see into each other's apartments, and I could tell that they were watching Drag Race, and I was watching Drag Race, but it was on my laptop, so they couldn't see it. And I was like, how weird would it be if I went, no, I can't go over there. I was like, should I go knock on their door and be like, are you guys watching All Star Season 4? Because I know there's a great season.
You should have had it open with on your laptop.
Yeah.
too.
Like, look, come
Me.
in.
And then you're like, I'm also a DJ, and they're like, close the shades, close the shades.
I have lizards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dang, what a bummer. I think if he was slightly
It could have been so good.
cooler.
It could have been so good.
I think the problem here, if we want to get to the root of the problem,
Yes, the
if we
mother
want to get to the
wound.
bottom of it, the
Yeah,
mother wound.
yeah.
The problem is that you found this person on Facebook.
Yeah.
That is red flag number one.
Yeah.
Had this guy had a cool Instagram,
100%.
it would have been
true.
way different.
Yeah.
A
And
cool
you would have probably
Instagram,
seen some of the signs too if you
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
him on the Instagram.
a cool curated Instagram. You go, this guy's normal.
Yeah.
He can handle a social media presence. Facebook.
What are we doing?
I mean,
Yeah.
Facebook is a fucking. It's a meeting
mental
place for the
institution.
mentally ill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
like-
there.
And you're on there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did buy an ashtray that looks like a shrimp cocktail.
Oh, by the way, it looks awesome. I saw a picture of it.
Thank you. Thank you. The shrimp looks so real.
And here's the thing: I am, as a Facebook Marketplace guy, like
Yeah.
I met a dude who sells plants out of his apartment, and I went with a fellow boy.
Yeah.
And this guy was so cool, and he like had a
Yeah,
closet with
loved
tropical
plants.
plants, and was like, I love that. This one's my baby.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend was there, and I'm like, I love
Ideal
this.
situation.
This is
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
What I was doing before was like Idaho
Yeah.
basement
Yes.
mistake.
1980s.
Yeah,
Full
100%.
bush.
Before.
Full bush,
yeah.
penny black.
Yeah.
yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
So
I
happy
know.
you're alive.
Thanks,
and here.
buddy. Thanks,
Who would
buddy.
be in that chair?
Yeah, I know, right? Penny Black would be in this chair. Yeah.
Can you imagine if I replaced her immediately?
with him?
Or just any. That'd be
Yeah.
so. If Andrea died and I was like, and we're back.
Unfortunate about her, but the show must go on.
Show must go on.
Yeah.
We know the passcode to the studio.
Yeah. Do boys ever have you as a boy ever gotten in? Because I know girls are famously safe and warm and good, but have you ever been around someone where you're like, this might be it?
I had an internship in college doing graphic design, and I never felt unsafe with this person, but she was just crazy.
Yeah.
And she had a
Yeah.
really nice house, and she was really good at what she
Always.
does.
Yeah.
And she was
Yeah.
a fantastic designer, and I would have to go to her house all the time. And sometimes she'd be like, not there, and the door would be like open.
No.
Ajar.
Yeah, and I would just walk in, and then she'd come in like hours later, and she's like, "Why haven't you done that drawing of a donkey I needed?" And I'm like, "I just am talking to you now for the first time."
Yeah. And you have to pretend it's not insane.
Yeah, and you're in college, you kind of don't know like what that's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
She was crazy. She would have me do like insane errands for her, and then I'd watch her like nephew sometimes, and he was a terror.
Yeah.
Of course.
This
he
is
was
a very rich.
terror.
This is a very rich woman.
Very rich woman
sure.
that had a lot of connections.
Yeah.
And she was just like kind of like she
I will be this woman.
she asked me if I'd smoked weed, and I knew she did, and I just wanted to be on her good side. So, and I don't think I did at the time. And she was
Oh no.
and then she was like, "You should try these weed pills," and I was like, "Oh, sure."
And
yeah,
this was a
one
long
day."
time ago, so it wasn't like regulated. It's 5
No,
milligrams.
this
it's
is
just
in
a
Georgia
pill.
when it was not.
Oh.
And so she had these pills, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna save it for later because I'm gonna go out with my friends." And she was like, "No, we should do it now, and we'll get into a good space." And I was like,
Yeah,
"I'm so scared of you." And then we did, and it was too much, dude. I was just too high, and she would ask me to like. It was too weird. It was sucked.
I had a weed problem for a while. Like I was like a huge pothead,
Me
and then
too.
I
Yeah.
did bad psychedelics, and weed would make me crazy. And I would be in so many of these situations, literally exactly what you're describing with Penny
Yeah.
Black. But I'd be high to a level of full psychosis.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
If I'd been
yeah.
high around
That-
Penny Black, I would have thrown up.
That I mean, one time I was like, I went to like there were these guys I went to college with who were like older and cooler than us.
Yeah.
And I went to their house and I smoked weed before, and then I smoked weed with them, and I was like in psychosis. Like I was sitting there being like, there are people in the walls, everyone's following
yeah,
me.
everyone's looking at me.
I was just like freaking out, and they were watching Rick and Morty.
Oh
so
my
I'm like,
God.
I'm just like sitting there like staring at a TV. I'm literally doing the thing that's like if I don't move, they won't see me.
Yeah.
Like I was just like sitting there, and then one of them, the one that I like kind of had a crush on too,
Always.
looks at me and he goes, "You're too high, aren't you?"
Oh god.
And without
Fuck
saying
you, by the way.
fuck you,
Yeah,
by the
just
way.
give me a glass of water
But
and
also,
be nice.
also at the time they were older than me, so I thought they were adults, but they were like 20.
Yeah, sure.
You know? So like whatever. He might have been being like, "Are you okay?" But in my head it was like he like beamed lasers
Yeah,
through his
yeah.
eyes into my skull and could hear my
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You're too high, aren't you?" And without saying a word, I got up and left.
You
I
did
got
flight.
up. I just got up
Yeah.
and walked out of the apartment, and I continued going to school with them, and neither of them ever talked to me again.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's
Because-
good. That's good you left.
That's
Because
yeah.
also from their perspective, that is such a weird person.
Yeah.
you like
Yeah,
smoked
yeah.
half a
You were
joint
the Penny
with a
Black of
person,
that
and then they
situation.
stopped moving or talking, and then got up and left.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
Dude, I had to do the same thing one time. We in college, my buddy worked at this bar, and we were hanging out. We were drinking one time, and it was just me and my two friends, Rita and Neil, and we were hanging out. It was chill, and then this like older guy was there, and he was really cool. Like at the bar, we were just kind of chatting, and we were all riffing, and he would join in, and we
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, he seems cool." He stays super late. I'm staying because my buddy runs
Sure.
the place.
Yeah.
And we're just hanging out, and he's like,
Staying
"Do you-"
super late when you're like 45
Bro.
sucks.
And when you're like 19, you don't know. That
You don't
it's
know.
weird. We just go like, "Oh, this guy's cool. He seems like he has money."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What do you guys want to do? The like city's dying down. We can go back to my place. I don't live far." And we were like, "Yeah." I mean, we were all drunk. We were
Sure,
like,
of course.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
We thought he was like nice enough, dude. We go. It takes us so long to get to his place. He's like deep out in the
Because
middle
he has
of
no
nowhere.
money.
Yeah.
Because he has no money and he wants to pretend he does. But
And then
now
we
you're in his
get out
trap.
into this weird house. It's
Yeah.
dark, and we're like, "Bro, we should not be here."
Yeah.
We go, and then his vibe kind of changes, and he has all these guns.
Ah!
And he's like, "Do you guys like weed?" And we're like, "Sure, yeah, man, we're college kids." And then he brings out like the most weed I've ever
Yeah.
seen. to
It's
this
always
day.
the most
Dude,
weird you've
yeah,
ever
It's
seen.
always like a
Yeah.
guy. He's like got a friend in
Yeah.
Rhode Island,
And it's like a cartoonish amount of
Yeah,
weed.
yeah.
Dude, he
This happened to
truly-
me in LA.
This
yeah.
has happened to me so many times.
Yeah.
It was so much weed.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
was
yeah,
that
yeah.
about? And then I think he got like diarrhea, and then we just We just left. We left and we like walked on his long driveway and took an Uber. The Uber took like 15 minutes to get there. The whole time.
Yeah,
we were like,
yeah.
And can I just say as a blanket statement, shout out diarrhea?
Yeah.
Dude, thank God he got
Because if
diarrhea.
you're in a situation like that, either he gets it or you fake it.
Yeah.
But diarrhea is a big. I mean, if
Yeah.
I was in fucking Penny Black's house and high on
Yeah,
weed and
yeah.
freaking out,
You'd be
I
like,
absolutely
oh my
would have
God.
been like, I just shit my pants. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have to fake diarrhea.
Dude, I love that
Dude.
you got diarrhea. That's
I
so
was
great.
so pumped because we were both. When you're young, you kind of don't know. You just don't know what to do in that
Yeah.
situation.
No.
And we were a little drunk. We didn't know.
And
Yeah.
you can't read how weird people are as much. Everyone's exciting and new to you.
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
the tropes of weird people
Yes.
yet. You're like, oh, this is like a 40-something-year-old loser guy weirdo.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's steal care of
We
this.
don't. There's no context to know
Never.
that guy sucks. So
No.
we
Yes.
didn't know it was freaky until we passed all of the exits we usually
Yeah.
are familiar with in that
Yeah.
town.
And then the hair starts standing up on the back of your neck, and you're like, oh.
And me and my buddy in the back seat were
no.
like, going
Yeah.
kind of going
Whoa,
for.
okay.
Wow.
By the airport.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
One time I was, speaking of diarrhea, I was at a bar.
And we're always speaking of diarrhea.
I was at a bar famously full of freaks when it was in New York, the Creek and the Cave.
Yeah.
And I was with some of it was like all comics there.
Yeah.
Always. Like it was like a little clubhouse for comics.
Yeah.
But like there would be like occasional like happy hour people, whatever. But this was
Yeah.
like late when it would have been all comics.
Yeah.
And there was one guy sitting at the bar alone who everybody could just tell was weird.
Yeah.
Like there was like cartoon stink lines of weird coming
Yeah.
So we were all kind of like avoiding, but we were like, he was sitting at the bar, so we were like going up to get drinks and stuff.
And a
Yeah.
bar in
So-
Long Island City, which is
Right.
a weird, not a place to go alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was at the time when like weird people lived in Long Island
Okay.
City.
Yeah. Got it.
So we were like going up to the bar to get drinks, and me and two of my friends were like standing at the bar, and this guy mentioned that he was on mushrooms, and we were all like, "Okay, man,
Great.
Yeah.
have a good
Good
time,
job.
good
Yeah.
luck." And then so once he said he was on mushrooms because we were drunk, we were like, "Oh, that's what's weird about it."
Sure.
Right.
So
Such a
we
relief.
stopped like kind of being afraid of him. So
Yeah.
now we're just like sitting like one seat down from him, like
Yeah.
hanging out at the bar. And then the room suddenly filled with the smell of shit.
Oh.
And we were like, this guy is on
Also,
mushrooms.
that room always smelled like
but
shit.
like
So for it to smell like real shit.
actual like poop in the air.
Feces. I see.
Not
I
like
see.
not like a sewage problem.
yeah. Oh
like,
my God.
like full blown
poopy.
human poopy.
Yeah.
And so my friend wrote. We all had notebooks because we were there for an open mic. My friend took a piece of paper and wrote a note that said, "I think this guy just shit his pants," and gave it to the bartender.
Yeah.
And the bartender was like, "I know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
So we're all kind
I
of
also
looking
did
at
too.
each other like, what do we do in
Yeah.
this situation? And then the guy orders a drink, and the bartender goes, "Hey man, I heard you say that you're on mushrooms. I can't serve you."
Yeah.
And we're just like, I know this
Smart.
bartender. He would have served something. Like he was
Yeah.
not a good.
Yeah.
He was
No,
not.
not
Not
a
a
good
reflection
guy.
on the business, but that guy
Yeah.
was not a good guy.
Yeah.
And so like, but he was using it as a way to get this guy out
Get
of the
him out
bar.
of here.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was like, "Hey man, I heard you saying you're on mushrooms. I can't serve you." And the guy goes, "Oh, no worries. I'll just have like a Coke." And he was like, "Fuck." And then the
I
I
bartender
didn't
goes,
anticipate that
Right.
move.
and the
Me
bar-
neither.
and then the bartender
Listening to
goes,
it.
"Hey man, everyone in here knows you shit your pants.
Oh.
You gotta go." And the guy, then we watched a grown man realize he had shit his pants. He was the only person in the room who didn't know he had shit his pants.
No way. Oh.
And he like kind of shifted in his seat and he was like, and he got up and left, stole the delivery guy's bike, and like
Oh
biked
my
home.
God! Don't do the delivery guy's bike. You
Yeah.
already pooped
And I
your
think he
pants.
brought it back or something, but it was like,
No, but you gotta disinfect the seat.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta DC.
and then like we all had to go home because it smelled like poop, and it was just like,
my God.
just like such a nightmare. But I will say, diarrhea got like the python out of the room.
Yeah, dude, you're right.
Like when he left, it was like a moment where it was like our team had just won.
Yeah.
Like we were all kind of like, yeah, we can really party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poop pants is out of here.
Yeah,
Poop
Duty
pants
pants
is
is
out of here,
Yeah.
dude. Poop in your pants at a bar. It's
Oh,
just not the
God.
move.
I've peed my
No.
pants many times at a bar.
I've peed my pants more
Shitting.
times than I would like to
Admit?
admit or remember.
Yeah,
Sure,
sure.
sure.
But it was always key in the door of the apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
Just
fine.
absolutely
That's your house.
pissing my pants.
Yeah.
Key in the apartment, you're at your house legally.
Yeah, and I'll say, and I like to brag about this as a former drug addict and alcoholic. Never shit my pants as an adult.
Yeah, that rules.
Me neither,
Yeah.
dude.
And that's pretty cool.
Same, yeah.
That is
But,
pretty cool.
but boy, have I pissed more pants than I'd like to admit.
Dude, that's fair. Yeah, I think shout out to diarrhea for getting that guy out of
Yeah,
there.
Shout out to
dude.
diarrhea is
We
all I'm
kind
saying.
of don't give diarrhea enough credit.
Also, shout out
I
to
know.
diarrhea. It is the call out of work.
Yeah, because what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Like if you
True.
are just brave enough to say I have diarrhea, they won't make you
is
something.
very
go,
brave.
All right, we've all been there.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can like code it and you can say food poisoning.
Yeah.
But if
We
you're
all
willing
know.
to send an email that
With
says
the
I
medical
have
term.
diarrhea.
Google the spelling of diarrhea every time.
Well, when my dad was in his 20s, he was a teacher at like an inner city school, and so kids would skip class all the time, and he was the teacher from like that movie, any movie where the
Yeah.
teacher is like
Nice.
He's the
Cool,
nice one. He's like
nice,
trying
yeah.
to like
Dead poets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dead poets.
and he's like the one that's like trying to get them on track for their
Yeah,
future, blah
yeah.
blah. So he was like,
Lovely.
if you're gonna miss class, I need a note from your parents.
Yeah.
Or else there's gonna be like major consequences. You have to have a note from your parents. He was like, you can come in my class, you cannot do any work, but you have to sit in the classroom and I'll give you a C. Or you have to have a note from your parents.
Yeah.
So this one time, this kid missed class, and he came back the next day with a note from his parents, and it said like, "Sorry, Johnny missed school yesterday. He had DIA crossed out, DIR crossed out, DIH crossed out," and then she wrote the runs.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be like a comic book family.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's really good.
To just
To
absolutely.
end it with the punchline of the runs
Yeah,
is
that's
so
really sweet.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
She had to spell Chihuahua.
Oh my God.
Freaked out.
What
died.
is happening to me today?
Wah, wah.
Chihuahua.
Dude, I dated one of these weird people, a Facebook Marketplace weird
I've
person.
dated a bunch of these.
Really?
And
Yeah.
by dated, I
What?
mean they wouldn't call themselves my boyfriend and we were having sex.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I met him. He was a bouncer at a bar. And just like we
Yeah.
had this like making out outside the bar. My friends were all like,
Yeah.
ew, he's 4'11. And I was like, you don't get it. It's a
4'11
connection."
bouncer. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good
he
for
was
him.
cool
He's
as fuck.
bouncy.
Yeah, he was bouncy. He's a cute
Little
little
bouncy
guy.
ball.
Little bouncy ball.
But he had one of these houses.
Yeah.
You know when you go to someone who has a
Oh.
house in New York City and
That's
near
why I dated that guy who lived in Far Rockaway. I did it for the team. He had a
yeah.
house on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, if I can get the girls over here,
And there's grocery
Best summer
stores.
ever.
best summer ever.
There's grocery stores with weird fruits, and it's all
And
Asian
big
people there.
aisles,
Yeah,
big aisles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is my moment. This is a novel.
Yeah.
I'm getting a coffee from a bodega. I'm getting a lychee.
Yes, even people
Yeah.
who love New York City crave the suburbs occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
big grocery
crave
store with
it.
an
We
aisle is
crave it.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
But this
High
fucking
ceilings?
guy.
A Target that actually sells everything.
Yeah.
Ugh.
This guy was, I think, part of a terrorist group of some sort.
Oh.
Some sort of like, we're not officially a
A
terrorist
good one
group.
or a bad one?
A good one.
Okay.
Like we are based
Antifa
in
kind of thing?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. We're based in Berlin. We sell zines. We're
Yeah.
all off the grid. But he, speaking of bodily weird things, he went to go see Marina Abramovich, who's a performance artist who
Marina,
used
I
to
think.
sit at the MoMA and just stare at people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He went there, took a bunch of X-Lax, and then he didn't make it to her, but the plan was to just like
Shit his pants
fully
in front of her.
shit his pants and vomit in front
Kind
of her.
Awesome.
I know, he was cool.
That's kind of awesome.
But he didn't make it, so he just was fully shitting his pants and
pants.
vomiting, and then was like banned from the MoMA. And I'm like, that's cool as fuck.
That's crazy.
dude.
Yeah.
And
Whoa.
he also
Wait,
he was,
maybe it's not cool. Hold on. I'm racking my brain to
yeah,
figure
but
out if
like,
it's
what's
cool.
the point of that?
to like talk about how modern art's like capitalist and bullshit and like what's the point of
okay.
any of this? To be
Also, it
honest,
is a performance art piece, so like you.
Yeah, you're
The
doing
idea is that
another-
you're
it's
also
like a hat on a hat.
performing.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And he also like, what did he do? He like threw a bunch of flyers at a police thing. He was cool.
Okay.
He was cool. But one night I went over there and we're having sex, and then he just starts telling me about how his dad died of AIDS in prison, and I was like, oh, you're like deeply broken.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That just unlocked a memory. Well, I'm not gonna say the. Okay.
Oh.
I went on a date with a guy who told me something deeply, deeply personal on the first date.
see.
That's what these
I'll tell you
weirdos
guys
do.
later, but I'm not gonna say it on camera because it is a really bad thing that happened to him.
Okay.
But he told me this on the first date, and I was like still in the era of my life where I was like, wow,
That's
he's so
cool.
vulnerable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah,
he's really
yeah.
opening up to me. And by the way, he was hot.
Of
So he
course.
looked like he could have been in Sons of Anarchy. He was
Whoa.
hot.
Yeah, dude, hotness
Cool.
will buy you such a
And
leash
yeah,
for this type of behavior.
totally.
Yeah.
And he was
In a lot
telling
of
me this horrible story of what happened to him. And
Oh
he
my
was
God.
drunk, and I was already sober, but like newly, so I was still weird.
Yeah.
And he we were like talking and whatever, and he was like, I live right by here, and I was like, okay. So I like went back to his apartment with him, and he had a human woman's femur on his mantle.
What the fuck?
Oh.
And he
From
like
where?
knew her name because like
His
someone he
ex-wife.
knows. He said like someone he knows was like a mortician or something and like stole it for him.
No, we can't be doing bone
He also
stuff.
had a human
Bones
skull
there.
that he bought from an oddities store, and I was like,
Nah.
I'm making an
that's
emergency
freak-
call. That's cool.
That's freak
and it was just
behavior,
like
bro.
too freaky, and I was like, I gotta get out. I do think I stayed the night, but what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
So I fled the scene, and then I remember he told me the bar that he lived above. And then, like, months and months later, I was at that bar with some of my friends, and I was outside with our late friend Kenny DeForest, who ruled.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, and I was like, oh my God, I went home with a guy who lives above this bar. And I told him that whole story.
Uh-huh.
And then as I'm finishing the story, Kenny's laughing his fucking ass off. And because I told him the stuff I'm leaving out.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like so I'm like telling Kenny the story, he's laughing his ass off. And then I hear someone behind me go, hello? And I turned around and it was him.
No.
But the reason he was coming out of his apartment
hits
is
you with the
'cause-
femur.
I know. The reason he was coming out of his apartment is because he was having a girl over.
Oh.
So he says hello to me, but there's a girl walking up to him, and he looks at me and he goes, "This is awkward." And I was like, "Well, it isn't really.
Yeah,
like
right,
I don't.
yeah.
We're strangers. It's,
Yeah.
You can date whoever you want.
Yeah.
Like it's not awkward at all." So he goes upstairs with the girl, and then he starts texting me.
Ew.
And he's like, "Your friends are fucking laughing at me. Nothing about my situation is funny. If you knew what I was going through right now, you wouldn't be fucking laughing." Like all this stuff.
Again.
And then
Jeez.
Kenny, great line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny goes, "Don't worry, I got my punch and turquoise ring on." And I was like, "Love you." And we went to another bar, and the guy was still texting me, and I was showing Kenny the text, and he was like, "This guy's trying to get you to come over." Like he was like texting me. He was the reason the girl was coming over is because like they were breaking up.
Oh,
And
so
he
he
was
was
like-
trauma dumping on
He
the
was
World
doing
Wide
the,
Web.
like, my situation's not funny, being like, I'm a broken,
Yeah,
sad man.
yeah.
I need help, whatever. And I was like, you broke up with a woman tonight and have a femur in your house.
No.
Yeah.
Thank God Kenny was there to be
Yeah.
like the voice of reason.
Yeah. Otherwise, you might have been like, "Hey, I just want to straighten my shit out."
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
bad.
And also
Yeah.
shout out Kenny for being like, he is hot. He was like, I get it.
Good. Yeah.
He was like, I get why you tried to overlook the femur.
Yeah.
You got a strong
Sometimes-
jawline. You might look over.
Yeah.
You're
Cool
lonely enough to
tattoos.
overlook the
Yeah.
femur. Wait, as a girl's girl, because I feel like you're a guy who is women are instantly comfortable around because you don't have a drop of weird,
Freaky.
Yeah.
freaky energy to you. Do you see when your female friends are getting caught in a web, and what do you do? Because a lot of times dudes will let you die out there because they
Yeah.
don't want to do the
And they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, I will say, like, I don't like the ingrained misogyny of this, but when I was doing this, like, weird shit, this, like, fucking creepy
Life
random guys, whatever,
risky.
Yeah.
a lot of times I did need Kenny that night to be like, you're not going over there. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
I need
yeah.
a man
Yeah.
to
To
be
be
like,
like, stop.
this is
Yeah.
a scary man.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I think I will just go be myself in that situation,
Yeah.
and then usually the freaky guy's like, "This guy's weird,
Yeah.
but she's comfortable around him."
Yeah.
And I'll alpha it without being like, "What's up, bro?"
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll
Because
just go over
that
there and be
makes it
like,
worse.
What's up?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be myself.
Yeah.
Just go goofball it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be a goofball, and they go,
I do
"Why is this
think-
guy being goofball?"
Yeah.
She's responding to it.
Yeah.
That's so interesting because goofball is weird guy kryptonite because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
take themselves so
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so
You're
true.
right.
They're so serious about who they are.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Like my friends laughing is what set this guy off.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we were having goofball time and he
Yeah.
like didn't get it.
Right,
You know?
right.
Yeah.
I remember the one time I can clearly remember this happening is at a show or it was a comedy festival maybe a few months ago, and one of my friends was trapped talking to this weird guy, a comic from somewhere, just being like super weird and kind of hitting on her. And I walked over and I was like, I think one of my socks is a dirty sock and the other one's clean. My foot feels all weird. My foot feels
Perfect.
So weird.
I think
my foot feels weird.
Yeah, I think I have a fungus.
yeah. Doing that.
Yeah.
And then she was just laughing really hard. And then he was like, yeah, I mean, go change your sock or something, bro.
And now he's bombing.
Yeah. And she was like, didn't say anything to him.
Yeah.
And it just gave her enough of a window to be like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And
Yeah.
I was like, see you later, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's perfect. That's
You gotta
exactly
do
what
something
women
like
need.
that,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
To the 4 straight guys who listen to this podcast.
Right.
When you see a woman in peril, goofball it up for her.
Yeah.
Do a little goofing.
Yeah.
My wife is also the sweetest, and she'll get trapped in situations
Yeah, your
like
wife's
this.
like a beautiful little angel.
She's such a cutie,
Yeah.
and like freaky guys that don't know we're together or something will like post up and just be freaky at her,
Yeah.
and I got to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one time.
Do you, and in that situation, do you go up and you go, "This is my wife"?
Yes.
Yeah, back off!
Yeah.
This is my
Yeah.
wife.
That's my wife.
And we make out.
Yeah.
so hard, and they go, "Oh shit, dude, I'm sorry."
Dude,
I
I
know this
love
is-
my wife pussy.
Get away from my
This is
wife.
unrelated, but I have to say, your wife is such a cutie.
She's
Yeah.
cute.
cutie.
She's the
She
best.
really
She's the
is.
best.
I've only met her once, I think,
Yeah.
but the first time I met her, I was like immediately like, okay, coolest girl ever.
Yeah. She's
Also,
the
I'm like-
She's
coolest.
funny. She's so pretty. Oh my god, you
I'm
did
lucky.
great. You
Yeah.
did great.
And
But
she
you're
loved
both
me.
lucky, dude.
Yeah.
I was on your Instagram once looking at your wedding photos, being like, oh my God.
I know.
Oh,
I
wow.
know.
Oh my God. So a perfectly matched couple. I really just love when it works out like that.
I
Because it
know,
doesn't
isn't it
always
the
work
best?
out like that.
It really is
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
I remember when
Yeah.
we first started dating, we were at an open mic, and there was this really scary guy that was doing comedy at the time.
And there always is.
There always
There
is.
Count on that.
There's the school shooter energy every time.
Dude,
It is funny
super
that they
school
take
shooter.
turns.
Yeah, and they just
Yeah.
kind of
Every
swap
time
out.
one goes, a new one comes.
Yeah.
A scene can't have two.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Bensonhurst when a cop pops out. It's like Bushwick, a comedian,
A comedian
pops
in a
out.
trench coat
with
pops
all
out.
black and
Yeah,
a bad vibe.
yeah,
walks-
yeah,
walks
yeah.
into an open mic.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing leather gloves, dude?
Yeah.
Why, why don't you want your fingerprints to be here? I
Dude.
don't like that.
And you're always doing an act out where you wrap the mic cord around your
Oh,
head
my
and do
God.
a pretend noose. And I'm like, oh, you don't think anyone's ever done the pretend noose?
Yeah.
Oh, you think this is fucking new stuff?
Dude, totally. That guy was hitting on my wife, and then he was like, I would love to see each other sometimes outside the context of comedy."
God. Oh, outside the context.
Oh, you want to hang out outside of school?
Yeah.
Dude, no, fat chance,
Yeah.
dude. And then she was
Fat chance. Love fat
Yeah,
chance.
yeah.
I think I was saying it.
Yeah.
Love.
Fat chance.
Big fan of fat chance.
Yeah. The fattest chance.
And then she was like, "That's my boyfriend over there." And then I remember doing this.
A little wave.
I was gonna do that as a joke because
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
what you do every time you see someone you know.
Hi.
Hi.
Fat chance.
And then he turned around and ran through somebody else's conversation and ran down the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And he didn't do stand up again. It was such a funny
That's
exit
so-
to a
Yeah.
guy.
He was
Yeah.
only just doing stand up to fuck
To
your
me,
wife.
yeah, to
Yes,
me,
yes.
my then girlfriend, and then he just ran and never did it again. We think about him a lot. We like bring him
Yeah.
up a lot.
These
Yeah.
people come up a lot in your there used to be a guy who would like just yell. He was French.
Yeah.
And he would be like, "Fuck you, Donald Trump. Fuck you." And I
Yeah.
was like, "I'll remember you forever, dude."
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is why I'm drawn to the weirdos because
Yeah.
the memories.
I remember one time I was
Memories.
hosting an open mic and a guy went on stage. And when I made this joke, I was pulling from memory: trench coat, leather gloves.
Yeah.
Goes on stage. He's like very quietly talking into the microphone like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And I was like, so there's a gun in his. There's absolutely
Yeah,
a gun in
yes,
his
yes.
coat.
Waiting for the
But
gun.
Yeah.
in the way this room was set up, the open mic host sits like next to the stage, and it was a room full of men, 2 women in the very back, and me next to the stage. And
Probably me
I
in
just
the
was
back.
sitting there being like, I'm first.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
when this guy shoots up this place, I am so first, it's not even funny.
And
I forgot to light him to tell him that his time was almost up because I was just sitting there being like, don't look at him.
Yes.
Don't poke the bear. You're first.
Was I nice
Yeah.
to my
I was like-
family
I was like-
in
Yeah.
these mass moments?
I was like clocking exits in the room. You know, I was like, the two women are in the back. I'll take them with me.
Yeah.
We'll get out of here. And then I was like, oh my God, it's been 6 minutes. You gotta go. You gotta get on. And then I had to tell him he had to get off stage. And I was like, it's gonna get worse.
Or stay.
Whatever you want,
Or
actually.
stay. This is
and
brilliant.
again, never came back.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Oh, weirdos.
Weirdos, you know? God
Yeah.
love them. You need a story.
Can't live
sometimes.
them. Can't live without them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll take your life.
Sometimes they'll just take your damn life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your dang good life,
Yeah.
and you gotta stay immortal.
Dude.
By the way, real quick, you brought back Fat Chance. My boyfriend and I were watching Law and Order SVU, and someone said this. We're bringing back What Gives.
What Gives is great.
There was like a scene where Detective Stabler was pinning a guy to the ground, and the guy goes, "What gives?" and my boyfriend and I were like, "Dude, What Gives?
What Gives is great.
Huge.
It's huge.
That's huge. That's
You're in Penny Black's house. You get to be like, "Hey man, what gives?
What gives?
What gives, dude?"
Yeah.
And also,
Oh.
Fat
Real-
Chance
real-
wherever
And by the way,
fucking
Fat
dude.
Chance. What gives and
we
not
should
for
go to dinner
nothing,
sometime,
Fat Chance.
Chance.
A guy I fucked like decades ago. I told you this. He texted me recently in the middle of the
sure.
night. I should have wrote back Fat Chance. You're gonna send me a hey at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Fat Chance.
You say you get
dude.
Fat Chance as the guy. You at least chuckle and put your phone away.
Yeah.
You're not like ruminating.
Cute hoe.
Yeah.
You go, all right.
All right, Fat
That's
Chance.
fair.
Lizzie still got it.
Well, so this is Respectfully Podcast,
Yeah.
and since Shaunak always brings the sweetest
Yeah.
and funniest segments, I want to hear some
What
of
do you
your
got, buddy?
ideas. What's
Okay.
going on in your world? What do you-
Respectfully, we gotta be nicer to magicians, dude.
I love
Yes,
this.
yeah,
I love this.
We do.
Magicians, we're being mean to them, and they know magic, dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Speaking
Dumbledore.
of weird guys, we gotta assuage.
Yes.
Be chill around magicians.
They
they're
know magic.
They know
Yes.
magic.
They don't even have to bring a gun.
Yeah, they're gonna
No.
cut. We put women in boxes and they section off
Yeah.
their legs.
Yeah.
We need to fawn around those guys a
Yeah,
little bit.
Yeah.
flying around the go. Wow, that's crazy cool
That-
trick.
Yeah.
And can I be honest? It is crazy cool.
It is crazy
We're
cool.
shitting on them all the time, dude. It is crazy cool.
Dude,
Yes.
I was at a coffee shop. The reason I thought about this, two girls talking about a date they had, and they were like, and then you wouldn't believe it. I found out he did fucking magic. And I turned
Aw,
around and I was
yeah.
like, you should be so lucky.
You should be ashamed of yourself,
Yeah, you
ladies.
could have been in a red sequin dress doing magic with him. as
Right.
his
You could have
assistant.
married a sorcerer.
Yes.
And you decided to date a finance man.
Yeah.
You idiot.
You're a
he could have
fool.
wowed your parents.
You absolute pig bitch.
Yes. He could have. Is this your card? Right out of your pussy. Yes. And it's a Joker because
dude.
he's a funny guy.
He's a funny guy.
God.
Certainly, and the trick she was describing, I don't remember it, but it didn't seem weird. It seemed whimsical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let men be whimsical.
Is if they don't, they get into that
Yes.
weird
Yeah.
kind
They're
of
Penny
territory.
Black.
Yeah.
A failed magician is a DJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
A failed magician to Penny Black pipeline.
Yeah.
Is it's a
Very
serious
It's
real.
real.
thing.
It's real.
That's gonna happen if you don't let these guys learn how to do a little shuffle trick with
Yes.
some cards. They're gonna become other sinister
Boys need
types of weirdo.
hobbies,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
There's this musician I really like who I've mentioned on the podcast before. He's like a sort of country folk singer, but he's a leftist and he's queer, and his name is Willie Carlisle. And he has a song called Tulsa's Last Magician
Wow.
that will make you weep.
Sure. Yeah.
But I saw him live, and he said he wrote the song because he was at a bar where a magic show was happening
Yeah.
that was poorly attended.
They're always
So
poorly attended.
he was like the only guy at the bar, so they were
Yeah.
all like doing magic on him, and his first reaction was to be like, "These fucking knuckleheads."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But then he realized, he was like, "I'm a musician. I've played so many shows to one person.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
These are just guys doing their best."
Yeah.
And then he like changed his mindset and let them do magic on him, and then he wrote the most beautiful and heartbreaking song about being a
Right.
struggling
Right.
artist. But in the song, it's about being a magician, but it applies to being
Everything.
a struggling
Yeah,
person.
Yeah.
And if you let your mind open to magicians,
Yeah.
you can create some of the greatest art known to man.
Let
Yeah,
a sorcerer
dude.
lift your spirit.
Maybe one of those magicians put a spell on him that let him write that song.
Yeah,
Very
perhaps.
possible.
It could have happened. Also, I believe that last night the Knicks won the game because one guy, and I saw the receipt, paid an Etsy witch.
Yes, I saw
Yeah.
that too.
Oh,
And
that's
I
fun.
think that there may be some truth to that.
I started an Etsy witch chant at a Knicks bar last night.
Etsy witch, Etsy witch.
Dude, by the way, we give Etsy witches and fucking astrology bitches
Yeah.
all the leash in the world
Yeah.
because we want to fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are not letting magicians who are the
Because
same
he has a neck
guy.
beard?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
maybe
He's-
his neck breaks out when he shaves it.
You ever think of that, you pig
You ever think of
bitch?
that, you pig bitch?
all of this.
yeah.
20-year-old girl and all of this.
20-year-old girl in a variety coffee shop.
What? Ever thought you're a pig bitch and your
Dude.
judgmentalness is actually really unbecoming?
Yeah, it's unbecoming.
Yeah,
you should
yeah.
be so lucky that
Unbecoming is
Zoltar
also
the Great.
you.
Dude, by the way, I saw someone do maybe the meanest thing I've ever seen someone
But
do
it's
to a
so
magician.
funny. I know this story and it's so funny.
It's so funny, but it's so evil, and I have so many mixed feelings
Yeah.
about it. I think about it all the time. It's
Yeah.
it's a friend of ours who used to be more evil and has gone to therapy and is now a little bit more nice.
Great.
But the evil's still in there a little bit.
Yeah.
So she had speaking of girls, she had a warehouse party. We're all on the roof, Bushwick. She's turning
Classic.
20 something. And she's like the mean, cool, bitchy girl in the comedy scene. So
I
everyone's like a
see.
little scared of her. But
I
she's
see.
like, then as other girls, you want her to respect you. But
Yeah.
she's like
Yeah.
mean to you still. And you're like, well, I'll just like earn her respect, but you never will.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with her and I was like, why are you so mean to me? Which is a conversation I've had many times. But she hired a magician. Clearly, it was like a paid gig. Like, he was like so
Yeah.
excited, and it was
Yeah.
a cool party.
Oh.
And her thing was like, let's all just be fucking so mean to this magician.
What?
Yes, like the.
Well, I think what happened,
It was
in my
Lizzie.
understanding,
Yeah.
Because I've talked to her about this too. I think there wasn't like she didn't like send around a memo.
Yeah.
But she was just like, I'm gonna invite a frankly struggling magician
Yeah.
to a party full of comedians.
Yes, the meanest. Yeah.
And that is a death
You
trap.
put a little.
dude.
You put a willoughby
Especially
in a
if she's
cake.
mean. I think if I invite a magician,
Right.
the tone
Yes.
is let's
So
get into
then,
them.
Yeah.
but then like
yeah.
your friends are like the roasty kind of comedian, you know, like
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
And we're all bitter and mean and like
Yeah.
can't be vulnerable. So this guy being all excited to do his little tricks, we're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so edgy and cool.
And you just had to keep going up to different groups of comedians and pulling out a card.
and they'd ignore him. They would ignore him. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Fuck, this makes me sad.
Dude, and then he came up to me and he was like, can I do a trick? And like, please don't tell me to fuck off because like no one's talking to me. And I was like, you can do a trick for me.
Yeah.
That lady's mean, and I always ask her why she's so mean. It's not your fault. It's your fault,
Dude,
Yeah.
your point
That's
about
good.
they know magic is so true.
Well,
Yeah.
they could do magic
They
on
could do
you.
magic
Yeah,
on you.
yeah,
They
I
could.
know. Yeah.
I love magicians. I love magic because it works on me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a Dumbo.
I know it's a trick, but it works on me, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care if that person was planted in the audience. It's working on me.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
And because I was raised Catholic, I get this feeling when I watch magic shows where I go, the devil's in here.
Yeah, be
I'm
nice,
like,
the guy knows
I
the
like
devil.
I get nervous.
The guy
Seinfeld.
knows the devil.
You gotta be nice.
He knows the devil. Direct line.
Direct line, Jerry.
He's gonna Skype the devil.
MySpace, stop my friends. He knows the devil.
Dude, also the devil so is a magician. If
Of
anyone in our
course.
society
He's
is
got
a
a little
magician-
mustache and a little goatee.
Yes.
And he wears a
Always.
big. He has a big cane.
Yeah.
Canonically dressed like a magician.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. And we're just gonna be rude to the devil.
The
I
devil?
don't think so.
On
I
a
wanna be nice to the
rooftop,
devil.
and you're an open micer, and you think you
He's
can
trying to have a
spar
good
with the
time.
devil. They're gonna throw him off the roof.
Yeah,
and I
dude.
supported it. It was one of
No.
the meanest. I think about it all the time. And I'm
No,
like,
we
he
gotta
didn't
be
deserve
chill
that.
to magicians
Yeah.
for
You do,
sure.
yes. Chill to weird guys. Have boundaries.
Yeah.
Fight, flight, fawn.
Yeah.
Also, maybe be a little nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are going through things that you don't even know anything about.
Yeah, and if you're a guy and
Yeah.
you see your girlfriend's in trouble, go over there and just be silly.
Yeah.
And also, not for nothing, yes, people are going through things that you don't know anything about. A magician, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
He
Yeah,
knows
you're
going through
right.
something.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing this because it's going perfect.
Yeah. Yes.
I got
Like
three kids, I
maybe
love
maybe
them.
if
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
at a sold out show in Vegas, but if
Sure.
you're like in a bar and a magician's
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
fucking cut the guy a break.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Totally.
Or girl. Are there girl magicians?
Yeah,
would
there
love to
must
see
be.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I would
Maybe
love to
we
see.
should get into that. That might be an untapped market.
Yeah,
Dude, correct.
I should get into
Yeah.
girl magic.
Oh,
Yeah.
but those are witches. That's too.
That's witches.
Oh,
That's
true,
yes,
true,
yes,
true.
yeah. Well,
And again, my boyfriend sent me the screenshot of the receipt of the guy who paid the.
how much did
Etsy
he
witch.
pay her?
$8.
Oh, nice.
Paid an Etsy witch so that the Knicks would win. He sent me the receipt being like, haha, isn't this funny? And I was like, I actually think those are very serious women and we're using one for our wedding so the weather's good. I was like, do not cross her.
Yeah.
No, keep her.
She'll
Actually, keep her number.
She'll curse
Yeah.
the moon and we'll have COVID again.
Dude, anytime I'm with like a tarot girl, an astrology girl,
I do get
bro.
nervous.
I get
I'm nice to
nervous.
those girls, bro. You don't know
Yeah.
what they
You
know,
don't
bro.
know.
One time I was going through a hard time and a tarot girl handed me a rock and I felt like there was like the power of it was in my hand and it was too much for me and I got scared and gave it back.
Whoa,
Yeah,
for real?
yeah,
What'd you
yeah,
think
yeah.
was gonna happen? You just
Well, again, I raised Catholic, so I was like, this is
Devil
dark
rock.
magic. The
Devil
devil's in the
rock.
room.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, you take that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Wiccans.
Yeah.
Wiccan.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
Wiccan?
It's like the religion
the
of
religion of
witchcraft.
witchcraft.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wiccans.
yeah.
I see.
And
Yeah. So while I fear it, I do respect it.
I
Yes.
just
Like
gotta,
the
you just
sea.
gotta walk with a light foot around those people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
you
Treat
do.
them like you would the sea.
Because
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
respect it, fear it,
Respect
cherish
it, fear it, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also, I have OCD.
Yeah.
So there's always a little part of my brain that's like, oh, you weren't nice to them, and then you were
Yep.
cursed for 1,000
Yep.
lives because you
Right.
had to just be a bitch
Yep.
to someone who's maybe schizophrenic, and
Yeah.
also respect that as well.
Yeah.
This collection of rocks is the only thing stopping this person from killing their children.
Yeah.
Let them.
Let's enjoy the
Let
I mean,
rocks.
a rock is so much more chill than a baby in a bathtub.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Totally, dude. Yeah, let them rock out and just go, wow, that's awesome.
Wow,
That's
that's
so cool,
awesome.
dude.
That's so cool.
Congrats.
And maybe do that to people in general. Unless,
Yeah.
unless you're in their home.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in which case, turn around and leave.
Turn
Yeah.
around and leave.
Turn right around. Walk on by.
Walk on by. Shaunak, you're the best.
You're
You
the
guys are the
best.
best.
Tell the people where to find you.
Shaunak G on Instagram. Also, I got a podcast, Slumber Pod. Go check it out.
Oh,
It's
my
really
God.
funny.
Yee.
It's
Shaunak's
really
so
funny, and
funny.
it's like the best idea ever for a podcast.
Yeah.
It's just three guys in a bed having a slumber party.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's-
God.
It's actually rules.
They're
We're
under the covers.
deconstructing misogyny. We're being
It's
free
so
with our
cute and
emotions. We're
funny.
funny.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
fun.
Shaunak also does follows Instagram because lately, and I don't know if you're still on this train, but you've been dropping these memes that are like they're like
One of the best meme guys in the biz.
like photo booth style weird,
Yeah.
like with like the grains and the
Yep.
polarizing
Yep.
colors.
Thank you so
Yep.
much.
And it's like this guy comes to the party and it starts, and it's just Shaunak being like, yeah.
Literally some of the
Yeah.
best memes in the biz.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much, guys.
And it
I've
really-
been off of it for a week, but I'm going to get back
Get
into
back
it
on.
tonight.
Yeah, it lifts my spirits, truly.
Okay,
truly.
bet. Thank you so much.
Yes, no, God, he's a great follow. Lizzie, where can they find you?
Follow me on
Follow you.
Instagram at Lizzie Cassidy. Listen to my other podcast, Close Calls. Come to my show every Wednesday at 9 at the Gutter in Brooklyn. That's it. Andrea?
Andrea Comedy 69 on all platforms, and follow our podcast on YouTube. Respectfully, Botness. Good night.
And if you're good, maybe we'll do magic.
Woo!